Great, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you all know, there's been a community discussion over the last several weeks concerning the potential sheltering of migrants in Wheat Ridge. I know there's probably several speakers this evening, so I appreciate the time to provide you with an update, and also Adam Paul from the City and County of Denver. I've spoken to you all individually over the last several weeks about this issue, but this is the first City Council meeting we've had since December 4th, believe it or not, to provide an update to you and the public. Denver's mayor's office did reach out to the city of Wheat Ridge on October 16th to inform us they were looking into a master lease agreement with the Super 8 motel in Wheat Ridge to potentially shelter migrants. However, at that time, Denver was unsure that they would need the Super 8 for sheltering, as the influx of migrants into Denver was slowing down at that time. Use of a hotel in Wheat Ridge for lodging is a use by right, and the city cannot prohibit this activity. However, we expressed our concerns to Denver about the impact of sheltering a large number of migrants in our small city. We explained the efforts the city has been making over the last several years to reduce calls for service to the police department from the hotels at the I-70 Kipling interchange, and including a new hotel ordinance that the City Council passed over the last couple of years, which restricts the length of stays at hotels to 29 days or less. At that time, Denver said they would be back in touch if things changed. Things did change. On December 19th, the Denver mayor's office did reach out again. At that time, Denver had 3,700 migrants in shelters in Denver, and they were receiving 225 new migrants every day on buses. So at that time, they were looking for new sheltering options. At that time, we again expressed our concern about the impact on our community from sheltering a large number of migrants in Wheat Ridge. We asked if they had to move forward with Super 8 in Wheat Ridge for sheltering, they limit the number of migrants to less than 200. We also reiterated the fact that the city has a motel ordinance that limits stays in motels to 29 days or less, and limits the calls for service to the police department to less than 1.5 calls per room per year. We also asked Denver for a good neighbor agreement to manage all the impacts from any potential sheltering on our community. At this time, there are no migrants sheltering at Super 8 or any other location in Wheat Ridge, as far as I know, and Denver is not currently considering the Super 8 motel in Wheat Ridge for migrant sheltering. So that is really the update we have. Again, there are no migrants in Wheat Ridge at this time, and Denver at this point has no intention to using Super 8. But as we mentioned, Adam Paul, who does work for the mayor of Denver, is here this evening, and he would like to also give an update on Denver's behalf.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goff. I'd like to invite Mr. Adam Paul to come to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, neighbors of Wheat Ridge. Again, my name is Adam Paul, the Director of Regional Affairs for Mayor Mike Johnston in Denver, and I'm glad to have this opportunity on behalf of the mayor. Thank you for allowing us to come this evening. So, as we know, there's a lot of conversation regarding this subject, and I'll give you a quick update. Patrick's numbers were pretty good, but we've continued to see an influx. Arrivals to date, since this started, we're at about 37,000. We're averaging 200 new arrivals every day. Currently in shelters, we have 4,600 folks. 10 facilities are currently in operation, which includes 7 hotels, and we have one that is open in Aurora. We have 2 congregant facilities. Those came online when we took down the encampments at 26th and Zuni last week, and 1 transitional housing facility here on the west side of Denver, not in Wheat Ridge, but in Denver. Of those that are being housed, 1,900, or nearly 43% of those in shelters, are children under the age of 18. So we've had over 300 charter buses from Texas since June of 2023, and that includes about 144 that have arrived in December alone. Our expenditures for 2023 was around $40 to $45 million. And as you can imagine, that'll continue to ramp up. We allow our adults without children 14 days to stay, and this can also change as we are in severe weather sheltering. And then for children and families, at this point we don't have a date certain to evict. However, we're looking at changing some of that as our numbers continue to grow into February. So what are we doing? We continue to advocate to our federal folks. We encourage all of our neighbors to do the same. We really do need some action. There is some talk that there might be action this week. But what we are looking for is certainly more funding. We're looking for expedited work permits for our new arrivals to be able to come in and be able to work legally, and to coordinate folks, so coordination system, so things just don't come to certain cities and continue to grow. As mentioned, we operate with a vendor throughout the metro area. That vendor does have a location in this community, and that's why we wanted to reach out and have these conversations. It's not an easy conversation, so I thank the city manager, the police chief, our Jefferson County commissioners, and certainly the mayor and council to have this. But what we look at trying to do is stand up in anticipation of what could happen. And that's why we had this beginning conversation. We've been in Adams County. When we were in Adams County, our goal is always to decompress as soon as our numbers go down and move everything back to the core of the city of Denver. And so that's happening actually in Aurora. We have a little bit of hiccup with the cold weather. We also recognize that in our neighboring communities, a lot of these motels are used for cold weather sheltering for our unhoused. We're very sensitive to that. And in those conversations, we want to make sure that whether it's Aurora or when we were talking to Wheat Ridge, that we weren't taking away your ability to also deal with your unhoused. So at this time, there is no plan to open up or stand up this shelter in Wheat Ridge. We don't have the resources, and we certainly are going to continue to look at other avenues moving forward, but it is a conversation that we've had to have. And if I could just press one thing upon the community, I think that this begs your involvement to really reach out to your federal representatives, to encourage them to engage, to have these conversations, to help in this situation. So for those that want to help, you can go to denvergov.org/migrant support is a good homepage. And then if you have any questions for the city and county of Denver or for myself, I can be found at adam.paul, P-A-U-L, at denvergov.org. And with that, I want to thank you for your time. And I think Judge Randall has left, but certainly want to thank him for his service. He's been very well respected throughout the metro area, so certainly would like to congratulate him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. We appreciate